I'd like to start this video off by saying I do not own any of the photos or footage in this video. Today I'd like to talk about a somewhat interesting player, which I'm sure most of you have heard of, Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen, in my opinion, is a really interesting quarterback. He's been on 2 different teams in his first 2 years, all while still being a first-round selection. Josh Rosen went to UCLA and actually started his freshman year after quarterback Brett Hundley went into the NFL draft. He was the school's first true freshman to start a season opener. In his college game, he went 28 of 35 passes with 3 touchdowns in UCLA's win against Virginia 34-16, which ended up winning him Walter Camp Offensive Player of the Week. During his sophomore year in 2016, he was injured in a loss to the Arizona State Sun Devils and was out for the rest of the season, which in his 6 starts he went 3-3, and without him they were 1-5 and missed the bowl games. However, in the 2017 season, Josh Rosen went off. For the whole season, he had a 62.5% completion percentage with 3,756 yards, 26 touchdown passes, and 10 interceptions. Later that year, Josh Rosen would declare for the 2018 NFL Draft. In the draft, Rosen would be selected 10th overall by the Arizona Cardinals. During the draft, Josh Rosen made the infamous quote of 9 mistakes were made ahead of him. That year, Rosen would end up being named the backup after training camp, but he would see his first action in Week 3 when he replaced Sam Bradford with 4 minutes and 31 seconds left against the Bears. With the Cardinals trailing 16-14, unfortunately, the Cardinals did not end up winning. The next week, though, Rosen was named the starter. He had a pretty good game, going 10 for 25 passes, with the highlight for the Cardinals being the 75-yard touchdown to Christian Kirk. Unfortunately, they would lose again 20-17 to the Seahawks. One of Josh Rosen's main highlights of this season was his 18-15 comeback win against the 49ers, with a career-high 252 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. Unfortunately, the Cardinals finished the season 3-13 and 3-10 with Rosen as the starter. It was a somewhat disappointing season, but to be fair, Josh Rosen didn't have a lot of protection and talent around him, which made it harder for him to produce. The Cardinals going 3-13 meant that they would be getting the first pick in the NFL draft since they had the worst record in the NFL. And the headlining player of the draft was quarterback Kyler Murray. And the Arizona Cardinals ended up picking him with the first overall pick in the draft. This was really concerning for Josh Rosen since the Cardinals took the number 1 quarterback in the draft, which meant his position as the team's quarterback was in a lot of trouble. Well, after a lot of speculation of a trade going on the next day, Josh Rosen was traded to the Miami Dolphins for their 2019 second-round pick and their 2019 fifth-round pick. Josh Rosen seemed to take the whole situation well by saying, quote, "I try to put everything into perspective. If I'm bummed I'm getting traded by the Arizona Cardinals, I try to think I'm living in an awesome condo in the middle of Scottsdale. I'm on a team, I have food on my table, a good family. Life could be a lot worse, so you count your blessings and try to put good energy into the world." Unfortunately, Rosen would see little action in Miami. He finished the first 2 games against the Ravens and Patriots for starter Ryan Fitzpatrick and started Week 3 against the Cowboys. The Dolphins ended up losing all 3 games, and for the rest of the season, Rosen would ride the bench as the backup. In the 2020 draft, Dolphins selected quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, and unfortunately, Rosen could not beat out Fitzpatrick nor Tagovailoa, and ended up being cut. Now, Josh Rosen will have to find his 3rd team in 3 years. Josh Rosen so far has had a tough career. Hopefully someday soon he'll find a system that works for him and turn out to be a great player.